Well, hello everyone. I'm Jenny Stanton from KI. I've got a little crowd over in the corner there, barracking for me, so yes. And I guess my background briefly, I actually grew up near Narrady, near Georgetown, so about 45 minutes away, so I'm not too far away. And yeah, currently I live Stokes Bay on the north coast there, and I've also got a property south of Pandana. So our rainfall varies from 500 mils on the north coast to 600 mils down south, and that's myself and my husband and our 3 girls. So yeah, life is busy, but we run cattle at the moment, where we have been cropping in the past, but we had fire, succession, just a few other things, and we're also doing Farm Owners Academy. So yeah, we're just chasing one rabbit instead of multiple. So Will loves cattle, and so that's where our focus has been in the last year. So I'm here to talk about what I would do as a consultant. Brief background, I work for Elders CRT as a broadacre agronomist. In the last few years, I have been project management for AgKI, and the kids are all at school this year, and I'm like, well, I want to get back. I love consulting. I love helping farmers grow healthy crops, healthy pastures. And so I'm now working with ASP, Australian Soil Planners. They fitted what I want to achieve in my life and what I want to see with farmers and growing. So my job as a consultant is to make you money. If I don't make you any money, you're not going to invite me back. I need to generate value for you. So for me, going onto your farm, to do this, I need to take soil tests and sap tests. So I'm going to be looking for the lowest hanging fruit to how can I best use your money to invest to try and get outcomes as quickly as possible. And to do that, we need to minimise our risk and maximise our returns and never lose any money. So, you know, when we were cropping, there was a lot of money going out, a lot of money coming in, but generally not much in between left over. So, so my role is to try and help you generate more money. So the foundations first are to build a home. We've got to get our house in order. We've got to build our foundations and get that right, and then we can tweak the end. So we just got to, so things we need to get right are your pH. So I know on the island, I've seen a pH of around like high 3s, and doesn't matter what you do, you're never going to get anything living in that soil. So let's address that first, and then we move along that line of, you know, your calcium, your phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, magnesium. So they all come in line, but what we're trying to do is grow healthy plants with healthy roots, because those healthy roots are what are going to put exudates into the soil to then build your soil biology. So yeah, that's my focus when I'm out there. A sap test, for those that don't know, is when you take a plant and you're almost getting, it's akin to a blood test, I guess. You can see what's happening and what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks, like what deficiency is going to pop up and pull back your yield. So it's a real snapshot of what's coming your way, so you can intervene and stop that yield loss, whereas a plant tissue test is more about what's happened, what's been in the past. And so in building our home, we've got to have good physical properties. So our aeration, like us, we need to be able to breathe. So we've got to have aeration. We want a cover on our soil. So, you know, keeping your stubbles, keeping your ground cover if you're grazing. And that also influences your temperature. Your biology is going to feed on your root exudates. So once again, it's just getting those healthy plants, healthy roots working for you. Doing no harm. So things like your group B chemistry, so Glean, Ally, they will, I guess, stop soil microbiology for a bit, and then you actually need microbiology to then break that down. So it's a chicken and egg situation. If you use your group Bs, you're actually stopping that microbial activity, and then how's that going to break down? Well, you've got to try and remediate that. Urea is another one that can quickly upset your soil microbial activity, and likewise muriate of potash. Lontrol, if you look on the label, has got an 8-year plant back for potatoes, so it just shows that it lingers around for a while. So what we're trying to do is just limit what impacts our soil microbiology, because we want to be able to grow, ultimately, a healthy crop with no end. Like that's the end goal. And to do that, we have to ensure that our microbiology is looked after and kept alive. I've written fungicides. We're limiting fungicides because sometimes it's our get out of jail card. We're not against it. We don't want to use it, but if we have to use it, we'll use it and use it judiciously because we've got to make money. Otherwise, there's no point. Growing big, robust roots. So we need as large a seed as possible. So if we can grade off our wheat or our beans or whatever, and keep the tops of those. So when we put them in the ground, they're ready to go. They're big, they're primed, they're good to go. Because as soon as they're in the ground, we want them to grow roots and get going. And their rotation. We don't want to be doing too many of the same thing just to increase our pests and diseases. So good rotations and strategic use of cover crops. Like tillage radish is pretty good for helping our soil health, and if you want to get aeration, that massive tuber in the ground is fantastic to open up and get that aeration. So 2 books that I've found really good. The first one, Mineral Nutrition on Plant Disease. If you have a disease that pops up in your plant, you can use this manual and kind of troubleshoot what's going on, because in effect, really, all plants and animals should be 100% resistant to diseases if they are biologically and nutritionally supported. So this manual is really good in kind of troubleshooting, like why is that rust there? Well, there's all these different reasons, like low copper and too high nitrates, and so you can kind of remediate that. You can also use a SAP test to try and adjust what that's showing. Another book I've just come across recently, this Regenerative Soil by Matt Powers, it's got a really good section on your different chemistry and pH and EH interaction, so what's available at different spectrums. So I found that really good. It's also got a section on biological support of diseases, which it actually gives you suggestions if you've got problems. So what I've got here is, there is a paper, and this was what I came across last year, is when there's stripe rust, there's this trial here showing that you've got your tilt fungicide that gives 100% control of your stripe rust, but there's actually other biological control agents that we can use to try and, combat without having to rely on fungicides. So you've got to dig deep to try and find this information, but it's out there. But it's also important to know how to use that and how to apply this kind of biological support. So I guess, leading on to this one, we've got to make sure we get our best return on investment. So, when we're at seeding time, we want to, in the first 72 hours, we want to get as big root system as possible, and that kind of sets us up for the yield for the year, or the plant's life if it's a perennial pasture. So we want to ensure we're giving it the best start, good nutrition. If we want to give the microbes some food as well to try and encourage them, because that's when the microbial association is forming. So if we can put the microbial food on the seed or in the furrow for the biggest impact, because effectively everything is everywhere, just nature selects. So all these microbes, they're out there. We just have to get out of the way, do no harm, don't keep killing our soil microbes, and feed the ones that are there. Get our roots growing, get those exudates happening, and then they'll come along. But we just need to remember not to do no harm. We also strategic use of the biological products, so and based on research. So that book I just referred to, and there's also more on Google Scholar about what to do. So these are just some things that I've learnt over the years, different products, different microbes. This year we had conical snails going crazy in our paddock on our perennial pasture we just sowed. So Mycoforce, which is a mix of Bavarium, Metarhizium. So this is a biological product. So what we do, we ended up actually baiting the paddock. I spoke to Nashi, had a bit of a chat with him. Baiting the paddock, but then also putting this Mycoforce out there. It's a slow kill, so you can't, you put a slug bait out, kills it straight away. It's like, yes, we got that. But we wanted something that's going to linger around and actually continue to kill and do its job. So this went out and nothing really happened, and my husband's like, that's a waste of time. But so that was done in April, and then June I went and had a look, and it was actually good, like 90% control of those conical snails. Like, they were empty. There were some still alive, but they were mostly dead. So I'm like, yes, it's a win. So, but yeah, so we brew that in the IBC shuttle with a little aeration going on. I've got a woolen blanket. Try and start with warm water, gets it going a lot faster. Once they're breeding, it actually maintains its own temperature. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, I just like the idea. It's very family friendly. Your kids can be around it, no problems. And yeah, it's just going to be a long-term correction. Transformation takes time. So I saw on the left that was taken in October 2020. You can see it's quite tight, not much aeration. There is an earthworm in there, but yeah, we've had some good seasons on the islands, and April 2023, you can see there's more aeration. It's got that more of that good chocolate cake porosity there. So in summary, get your home in order first. Make sure you address all those limiting factors, subsoil constraints, get them right, because you're building a home for your microbiology. So get those foundations, your minerals, rotations, and use large seed. Grow healthy plants with healthy roots. So if you need to put a foliar fertilizer on, that helps to shortcut if there's any subsoil constraints, it gets that nutrition into the plant. Do no harm, give it utmost respect. Don't kill things if you don't. And if you do have to do something, remediate it. Try and fix the problem. And biology has its place and is a great asset, but once the fundamentals are in place. So thank you.